John Story puts forward 6 definitions of popular culture. The first, quantitative. He believes to truly be able to assess what is and is not popular culture, we must find the boundary line. This can be done by analysing sales and audience numbers. The second claims popular culture is the inferior culture to accommodate that which does not qualify as high culture. Bourdieu's theory supports this claim, as cultural distinctions are used to support class distinctions. The third aspect of popular culture is what this presentation will be focused on, mass culture. The fourth is that popular culture is from the people for themselves, which is criticised by Bennett for romanticising the working class. The fifth applies Gramsci's concept of hegemony. Popular culture shows the struggles of the subordinate group. Postmodern is the most recent. It is said to blur the distinctions between high and low culture. Similar to his story, Williams attempts to identify his own definitions of popular culture. He puts forward 4 definitions. For something to be popular culture, it must be identified by one of his 4 definitions. He believes culture is one of the 2 or 3 most complicated words in the English language. Reality television shows have become popular in our modern era. They can be mass-produced with little variation and can continue for many seasons. For example, The Real World is now in its 30th season. They have large audience numbers. For example, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, for its season 10 premiere in 2015, had an audience figure of 2.547 million. They are cheap to produce in comparison to other television shows. There are no sets, as everything is filmed on location. There are no actors, so the cast members get paid very little. For example, the Jersey Shore cast was paid a few $100s per episode when it first premiered, whereas Charlie Sheen was paid $860,000 per episode for 2.5 Men in 2009. When it was first published in the 1900s, it was not well received by the literary critics, but a large number of sales made it part of low culture. This was shortly followed by industrialization, which led to the rise of advertising, and adaptations of the text were formed in different contexts. For example, the Broadway production of Wizard of Oz, which at the time was a high culture industry, made it a high culture text. Blurring the boundaries between high and low culture. As consumers began to come from upper and lower class, the story became part of mass culture. According to Davis, America created commercialized ideas which became parts of mass culture. The culture in America changed at a rapid speed, and the rest of the Western world were to follow its lead, creating a universal culture rather than individual values and traditions. Films were mass-produced with no intellectual thought. They evoked cheap responses from their consumers. Gramsci claims the subordinate class accept the ideology of the upper class as common sense and natural. Mass culture has been linked to the regimes of Adolf Hitler, who appealed to the masses with tools of mass communication such as radio, newspapers, publishing, popular music, posters, and films, where he implemented his regimes. 2 Marxists from the Frankfurt School of Thought. They believe freedom of speech is a deception. Culture has been industrialized and used by the ruling class to keep the lower class subordinated. Authentic culture is not factory produced with a formula in mind, but it's simply a product of high culture and is appreciated in a different way to popular culture. Ritzer puts forward the concept of McDonaldization, which is the process of rationalization. There are 4 dimensions to this. The first, efficiency, the optimum method of completing a task. The second, calculability, assessing the outcome in terms of a quantifiable criteria. In other words, quantity over quality. The third is predictability. The process of production is organized for standardizing the product. The final dimension is control. The work of a machine can be better controlled than the human labor. Fisk criticizes the Marxist approach to mass media. He claims they ignore that all media promotes the same capitalist ideologies. This is a key belief within the Marxist school of thought. They ignore the idea of resistance within the masses. The final criticism is that they ignore that audiences have power. Everyone can consume the media in their own way. Culturist theory reject that popular culture is enforced from above. They are more interested in what the people do with the media than what the media does to them. Huggett, in his study The Uses of Literacy, agrees that popular culture is the culture of the people. Popular texts become popular because the people decide it. He believes the media does not own us, and to say we are all part of one mass is to dehumanize us. Williams defines the mass as other. What he means by this is that we are all part of everyone's definition of other. There is no mass, but ways of seeing people as the mass. Marvel claims to utilize its character franchises in entertainment licensing and publishing. they have recently expanded into 3 television series: Agent Carter, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Daredevil. The 2012 movie Avengers is the 3rd top-grossing film of all time. Hollywood have produced a number of sequels. A recent example of this is the Fast and Furious franchise, which began in 2001. It is due to release its 8th sequel in 2017, 16 years later. This aspect of the industry has changed drastically from 1981, where only 3 out of the top 10 grossing films of the year were sequels or adaptations, the rest having original concepts. The success of the 2015 Cinderella had led to the announcement of the production of 2 more classic animated Disney films, Tarzan and Beauty and the Beast.